correct?
No, this is live on the Huge Convention page. What's going on? I'm Jersey from WCR Nation and, of course, the Huge Convention. And we're doing another live to talk to you guys about the convention, kind of talk some stories, tell you what's going on, and all around good stuff. So I'll put the link on the screen now, but if you haven't had a chance to jump on and get your tickets to the convention, please do so. But today we're talking with Rob Anderson, the man, the myth, the legend. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Jersey? Of course, people are texting me right now, and it's let me kick that on Do Not Disturb. Dude, I'm excited about the convention. I'm excited about it. Got my tickets, got my flight. Flight was the craziest part about it. But we got that all taken care of.
Nice. What'd you end up doing? I know you were like talking about maybe driving at one point even. And
so, as everybody knows, I'm from Salisbury, Maryland. We have this rinky-dink airport that's got, 2 runways. What's going on, Jake? The cyborg is back. So, we fly to Charlotte and Philly, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll check that airport after I've already checked BWI, DC, Philly, Dulles, and just can't find any flights there. It's literally, and it was got to be like 12 hours, 14 hours of from start to finish. 5-hour flight from here to Charlotte and to SFG. I get to meet up with my buddy JC Chinoski and fly the rest of the way there. So we'll be having a fun time from Charlotte to SFG.
Nice. So when are you flying out of Charlotte then?
Wednesday morning at like 9 o'clock.
Very cool. I fly out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm flying out early. Everybody is like, oh, we're leaving out of Charlotte. And I'm leaving on Tuesday. No one else is going Tuesday. So it seems like I won't be on anybody's flight, but that's cool. At least you got it figured out. It's nice to travel with somebody in the first kind of place, just in general. Travel is one of those things that can suck if you don't have something to pull your attention away from it. But
absolutely.
Yeah. So did you guys did you guys get hit with the floods, by the way?
No, we're down on the Eastern Shore. We really haven't been hit with the crazy stuff. And when we do get heavy rain, we're not as built up like on the other side of the bridge in DC, Baltimore area where they just don't have as much places for the water to run off to. So
yeah. FYI, for a fun story, when the convention was in DC, I flew into Baltimore for some accidental reason. I flew into the wrong airport and then had to take like a limo because that is all I could get for that long of a drive. So I had to take a limo from Baltimore past the other airport I should have went to and convention. So I could have walked. I could have walked.
Yeah. Well, and Uber didn't really exist back then, so we were stuck with taxi cabs and hitchhiking. So probably not the best out of Baltimore.
Yeah, it's like an hour something time too. So I wouldn't have. Probably Uber would have been even more than what I ended up paying. But
probably.
Jacob Dell just said that he's got an exhausting 3.5-hour ride to the convention, and still bets are flying. And if he's still going to show up, 3.5 hours. Allegedly, he met Chris. They took a picture. It could be Photoshop. You never know. But Jacob Dell may be there. I'm not quite sure, but he may be there.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we'll see. I'm waiting for that handshake or the hug that he has promised me.
Yeah. Well, he's promised a lot of hugs. There's going to be a lot of that. So hopefully he shows up. But so this is actually your 4th year going to the convention, right?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Well, tell somebody okay, let's kind of spotlight somebody who actually goes to these shows. Who are you? How long you been in business? What do you do? What do you go to the shows for?
So the first show I went to was the first one in DC, which was the 2nd overall. It was awesome. It was completely scary at the same time. That was the first time that year I broke $50,000 for the year.
Yeah.
And being in August, it's a little slower time, especially when you're early on. You don't really know much. I know a few people that were going to be at the event. I knew Tim Fields. he'd done some vinyl work for me, and ended up seeing him in the lobby. But like I just made a leap of faith. Got a room there. Ended up spotting somebody else because like I've already paid for my room, so somebody else who needed to get there. And it was just awesome, meeting people, getting to take classes. Howard Partridge was there. Um, hanging out with John Tornabene in the lobby, all of them, and
Yeah.
as I said, Tim Fields is just a fun guy. Met Sean Kilgore, Joe Deveneaux, a bunch of those guys. Just it makes the whole until you go to your first event, the whole world, you just seem like you're on an island, and then you go to these things and you're like, oh wait a second, there's a whole army of us on this same crazy ship of entrepreneurship and learning and growing our business, and it just makes it so much more manageable.
Yeah, it does. Like you said, kind of brings it in to go, hey, there's a bunch of other people who know exactly what I know or have dealt with exactly what I've dealt with. And I'm talking to a lot of times people just call and, open phone line for just helping people in general, not just sales. But I got a guy now who has hit that 7-year itch, and he's like, some days I just don't even want to go to work. And it's like, I've been there and I know that like everybody hits that, like, and it's very weird to like, when he's explaining it, I just understand it so much, that's what it is. Like everybody in the industry has the exact same like feelings and experiences. And it's amazing the connection you can kind of have.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, especially, when we deal with similar struggles with employees and gaining clients and stuff, and seeing so many people be able to bounce off similar issues,
Yeah.
how to best handle things, how to go after big clients and all. Um, it's awesome. I love going to the convention, and it's top notch all the way around. Um,
Here's a question for you. For the people that you've met, has anybody really surprised you of being like, when you met the real them, they're not on the like, Tim Fields is one of those guys. Like he's super, he's short when it comes to like what he posts online, and you meet him in real life and he's like this giant kind of personality of like, is there anybody specifically that stands out that you've met that you're like, whoa, this is not who I thought?
I think it's funny, first of all, because so much of us, we see this is what Rob Anderson looks like, and you see like in real life, you're like, that's not at all what I expected.
Yeah.
I mean,
people
man,
don't know, but you're actually 6'6" and 422 pounds. It's crazy. Like you just don't look like it. But
yeah. Yeah. Well, and for most of us pressure washers, we're usually a little bit bigger in person than we look on pretty much any other thing.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, Tim was Tim, plain and simple. I took Dave Carroll's class first time. That was fun. His social media, or actually, it was just about getting commercial clients.
Yeah.
Meeting them. Just seeing some of the other vendors too. I mean, that's when I knew Russ Johnson, got to hang out a little bit more with him there. Seeing all the crazy people from what are the magazines? I got to hang out with oh my gosh, whatever. There was Comic-Con that was going on there, and so we ended up taking like all these selfies with all the crazy people in their outfits and costumes and all. Jake Deal, I bet Rob is 4 feet tall and wears a wig.
That's rumor. That's rumor. I've heard it too. But that's only after hours, just so you know, Jacob Dell. That's after 10 p.m. and it's a whole bunch of networking is going on and things happen. But no, I think that's funny. So when you do media stuff in general and you're doing content, people know you, but you don't know them. And there's people I've talked to 1,000 times, and you meet them at the show, and they're like, "Hey, I'm Rob Anderson." And you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I had no idea like what you looked like. I had no idea, so meeting people that you've like seen or talked to, or people have just genuinely helped you, never asked for anything in return. You've never even officially met the person, and being able to meet that person in real life is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun last year in Atlanta, being able to speak and going again from my first convention. I was a nobody there, and then created the YouTube channel. Been able to help a lot of people. We're at almost 9,000 subscribers, and being able to have my family there and see, people come up and like just thanking me for the videos and stuff that's been able to help them grow. Um, I've been able to learn so much at these things, and just it amps me up. I love helping people, and to ultimately be able to meet that person that says, "Hey, man, I was able to do all of this." Yes, tonight's Virginia beer Waypost. That's one of the reasons I love to go to these events, is to find all the new beers in any given area.
Yes.
It is fun. I definitely enjoy that.
Yeah,
What's going
that's
on,
one
Bobby?
thing with contact. Speaking of, Bobby Walker's there, but when you do content, like, you sure, people can type and say thanks and send you text, but when you get to kind of go in and be around people who can just stop you and say, "Hey, I don't mean to bug you, but I really appreciate everything," like, that's why you can do content, right? You're not
Mhm.
becoming a millionaire because you're some YouTuber. That's not how it happens.
Yeah.
So people really don't understand that a little bit of kind of words of kindness is just really goes really far in that.
It is. It's validation. It's just an awesome feeling to get to meet those few people and know that, impacting other people, but being able to actually shake somebody's hand and know this. It's awesome. And the people
Yeah.
that you talk to that'll comment on the videos and everything. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that go, if you haven't gone to the convention or never gone, get your tickets now at thehugeconvention.com. Do get that. And anybody who wants to buy Rob a beer, I heard he will always be accepting of free beer. So
Yep.
you can always
Yep.
throw that out there. But yeah,
Yes, indeed.
events like this are super. It's a way to network in a whole nother way, right? And I saw a video that you had just done, and it actually stemmed off of a Facebook post about guys opening the doors. It's busy season. They open the door of their truck, bunch of weed smoke comes out, and they're just wondering what to do. And it's been like this kind of interesting kind of open up thing. Like, let's talk about that for a second.
Sure.
It's off topic, but I'm 100% in agreement that if it's against policy, which it should be in general, because you're altered, right? You're under the influence on job, and there's a lot of people out there that smoke and say, "Hey, you know what? I do before I work, and I'm always better than what I was before." But if you're doing it on the job, I think it's the same as kind of drinking and things. When you do something like that, it really opens up a conversation from every side, and it's really kind of interesting to see when people can be cordial when they start talking about that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. It's great to, I've been part of a lot of different groups, been in different, whatever. And the people that I've known, that I've grown with, and some of the other groups that I'm a part of, it just allows us to have that discussion that, it's not really political. It's just a matter of like, we're all looking at how is this going to destroy my business, or what's the repercussions of this?
Yeah.
It's so easy when we're in that situation and we look at all the other criteria and things that are going on, and I can give you that same situation and you're like, there's no emotional attachment to the situation. I openly said that I had a guy, he's currently serving his suspension, that was driving on a suspended license for at least a couple weeks or a couple months.
Yeah.
That put me at risk. He lied about it, caught him in it, suspended him for 5 days.
Yeah.
And it was something where, in talking, like, I'm in Automate, Grow, Sell, Conquer program, and my guys, and coach and all there were like, dude, you know what you have to do? You have to suspend him. There's no way around that. He put your business in jeopardy. And in regards to the situation today, I mean, if you're aware that somebody's intoxicated or not in their right mind, and you continue to let that go, one, they're going to do worse.
Yeah.
If you're allowed to show up to work drunk or buzzed, then you're going to show up drunk. Then you're going to show up hammered. Then you're going to screw something up so badly that it's going to just destroy stuff.
We have so much liability as business owners that to open the doors to that. It's like somebody, you know, when somebody posts a picture or something on one of these groups and everybody screams OSHA violation, it's not as much putting it out there as kind of just to mess with people. It's to be like, you're liable for that. Like if you're putting pictures of unsafe work environments, or you're letting guys be high or drunk on the job, like the liability always comes back to you. If you guys don't agree, by the way, if you're listening or watching, I know that's what it's not about, but comment down below and let us know. But that's really, really kind of the point of all this, is the content creation that you do allows people to kind of have that open conversation. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's nice too. I mean, to be able to have that conversation with, again, people that are in similar situations, some that have been there, some that are watching. I mean, when I went to my first convention, I spent, and it'd be shocking for most people, I spent so much time just listening, just being near conversations of guys that were doing, you know, $500,000 plus, that were doing $1 million, and just listening and taking all of that in. Like it's unreal.
Yeah.
You know, I did audio recordings of all of them and just listened to them when I was walking my dog, and just to try and glean more and more and more nuggets out of that. And for those guys, I mean, if you're on the fence about going to this event, go.
Yeah.
If you go to one class, every single class there, quite frankly, will pay for the entire event. You know, make sure that you're not spending your whole time in your hotel room. Go hang out with people, make friends, find people, and just, even if you don't know what SH is, go listen to people talk about it all. Like it's, Joe Devono, the first convention I went to, there was a beer swap, and I brought, he gave me moonshine and I gave him maple syrup. So that was the trade.
Nice. Well, before I get too far into it too, I just want to say Gene O'Neill, who said he can't even remember his own name, he will be there. So if you want to meet Gene O'Neill, the infamous Gene O'Neill that I've never met yet, but he'll be there. He said he might make it, which means he's gonna be there for sure. So
now the question is, will Gene be on a boat, or will be like standing there in person, like, hey guys?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things. Robert just jumped in. He said that you mean you can learn. I'm sorry, wrong one. Any sort of intoxication makes your whole company look bad. Save the goods for afterward. I always tell people, like, I don't care what you do on your own time, because that's your time, right? But when you're on my time, you can't do that stuff. I had a guy, and this is years and years and years ago. I used to do a shutdown over the 4th. We'd shut down, and I gave them a bonus, their summer bonus, and we got basically a week off. They'd have to work a couple days, but they got basically a week off. And I really like hiring people who are recovering addicts, because I feel like, you know, people can give them a chance. You know, window cleaning is one of those kind of things. And I gave him a bunch of free time and a bunch of money, and unfortunately relapsed. He stole my work truck. I got phone calls about where my truck was. I had to have my truck repossessed. You know, had to have a tow company go and actually steal it back and hold it in the impound lot for me. It was just like a whole nightmare. But that's what happens. You get one thing, you get into two things, you get into three things, and
it takes you very quickly off track. And shout out to Robert too. I mean, these shirts, Femprint, the designs, that's where I met him, was at the New Orleans convention. And just, it's been fantastic to have these shirts, and it's just added to the brand and the recognition. We do so much with Facebook and social media marketing that I go to Lowe's and Home Depot or just around town, and people are like, oh yeah, hey man, you're that dude on Facebook, right? You're that guy. Yep. It's been fantastic.
Yeah. The one thing that you had pointed on too just before, and it looks like you know, Thad just jumped in too, but if you only go to classes, you'll get stuff. You'll learn and you'll make your money back tenfold just on that. But I'm telling you, the people who are too scared and stand in the back in the corner, you see them, right? They got their little folder and they kind of look up and then they just disappear. You lose so much out there. Get into a conversation. There's clusters. You'll see there's going to be 1,000+ contractors, and there's clusters of people who some I know each other, but just are talking. And there's more people listening to a conversation than there are people talking. And that is where you get the most of it. That's where you get those little tidbits out of it. And like you said, that first year you went there, you're a sponge. You're almost worn out when you are on the way back home for that because it's just there's so much information. You learn so much. There's nothing that compares to it.
Yeah. I mean, you can sleep later, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I woke up, for the 6 or 7 a.m. roundtables that first year. When I went to New Orleans, I really wanted to pick Dougie Doo's brain. And so he's like, "Hey man, meet me at 7 o'clock." And I'm thinking, man, I've been here for a couple days. I went out with Dave Carroll, went out with other people. We've had, what's going on, Pat? And I was like, no, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna make it there. I'm gonna, be able to talk with that guy. We're good friends, and also in those groups, guys, like if you're chatting with people or you're sitting in one of these groups and you're like, I don't like that. You just slowly back away and you go to another group, and go find another topic.
And you walk away. That's all you do. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, I was doing that the entire time in Atlanta. I would be in a group for a few seconds, and then somebody's like, "Where'd Rob go?" I would I just like to chat with everybody.
There's
and
so
go
much.
live a lot.
You literally could walk around and find a conversation that you really went there for. Like, man, I want to go and I want to learn about bidding commercial projects. You'll find guys who are just talking commercial stuff, and you can butt in. And I'm telling you, it's a dog part. Like people just are open to it. Speaking of Mr. Nightlife, the lightning rod himself, Dave Carroll. By the way, let's be honest. When you go to these events, you know who the early people are and the late people. I'm not an early person, and there's these guys who are like, "Oh, round tables at 6 a.m." That's awesome, but I'm going to be still probably awake at like 2, which as I get older is a little harder to do. But that's the networking, like the networking of just standing around, and people really open up when they have a little bit of liquid encouragement. But Dave Carroll is one of those guys that he will always provide a good time, learning environment, and just a fun guy to hang out with.
Yeah, as long as you can kind of understand what he's saying and where he's running off in his 1,200 tangents a second, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing to just watch that brain go.
In a normal race, there may be like 8 lanes, but they're all going the same direction. With Dave, there's lots of lanes, but they're not going in the same direction. So you have to kind of catch up a little bit and refresh. But when you can get on his track, it's like the roller coaster. But you can learn a ton from that. But yeah, like Patrick Clark,
it's inspiring.
What's that?
It's inspiring. I mean, and Pat Clark's chiming in here. I mean, Pat Clark has my utmost respect, and just seeing what he's grown his business in Atlanta. He brought one of his daughters. She got to hang out with our kids. Just a solid guy. And again, seeing the way that these businesses have grown and the way that Pat's helped a ton of people. When he does these traveling big commercial jobs, and he'll bring some other contractors in, for those jobs. I know when he did one in Maryland, Chris Cons and what was the other dude? One of the other guys up here, and he's gonna be pissed at me for blanking on, but they got to hang him out and get huge experience by working with them. That's the kind of, if Pat didn't meet them and know them ahead of time, then he's probably not going to go ahead and network with that person.
Yeah.
So
just so you know, if you go on record as being the guy who doesn't remember names, it doesn't make it any easier, but I'm that guy. So there's a guy and his name is Derek Smallwood. I've met him 1,000 times. I know him so freaking well. Yeah. He lost like a bunch of weight, and like he was in front of one of the bars and he's talking to Chris, and I'm like, turned around, I'm like, "Oh man, hey, nice to meet you." He's like, "I've met you like 6 times." I'm like, "Oh my God." Yeah. So I changed the way that I say, I don't say nice to meet you anymore because I just keep screwing that up. I just say like, good to see you again, man.
Yeah, exactly. What's up? Hey, there you are.
Hey, there's you. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing
we always had
I was going to say, if you're bringing your spouse, the greatest thing you could possibly do is introduce your spouse to people you don't know. And this is, if you don't remember somebody's name, you walk up and be like, "Hey, this is my wife, Sarah." And then they go, "Oh, nice to meet you. My name's Rob Anderson." Nice. And then you're like, okay, I caught the guy's name. That's like my secret.
Well, so the not really a secret, but I mean, since college, that's what we did. Is I I met lots of ladies on campus and I couldn't remember most of their names. So if my buddy was with me and I didn't introduce him, he knew that after about 5 to 10 seconds that it was his job to say, "Hey, I'm Tom." Well, and that's the same way. And I'll say this too. I mean, anybody that's on, unsure about bringing your spouse, um, it is such a game changer when your spouse understands and supports what you're doing. It takes it to a different level.
Yeah.
Um, it really validates it all. Again, being able to um, be humbled and honored in Atlanta and having people come up and my kids get to see that. And then they understand why daddy makes videos in the car.
Yeah.
Why I'm taking phone calls from random strangers and spending time answering those, or why I'm doing this right now. And it's also awesome when if your spouse comes and get them to go to 4 or 5 classes, and then all of a sudden they understand some of what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that a lot of our spouses, after about 5 minutes or 5 seconds of technical jargon, they're like, whatever. I mean, you get way more excited about carbon fiber poles than I'm sure your spouse does.
Right.
Like, "Oh, hey, honey, we found this new tubing and it does this and this." And she's like, "Cool." Like but it's fun. My wife has nothing to do with the business, and it was fantastic for her to be there and just to really get it and see it. So,
well, there's different layers to it. That's really what it is. And some people's spouses are very involved. Mine is not. She could give two dumps what goes on, right? She just knows that, do I need to spend money on equipment or, what's going on? And when you can kind of open it up a little bit so that they can maybe talk to a different spouse because they kind of know the same problems of like, your husband had to work a Saturday, right? Yeah. What was the last time you guys went on vacation? He's taking phone calls and they have all of a sudden, they have something where a lot of the spouses meet up. There was a wives group going on for a couple of years where there was like 4 to 6 of them where they would just make these little dates where they'd go and do these day things. They'd come back with a bunch of bags and they had a great time, But then they have being able to build the relationship so that as our bonds with other contractors and like, some of the best friends that you've met at these things, there's connections that you wouldn't be able to find in normal life.
Absolutely. And one other thing I want to throw out there too, if you're worried about kind of on the cost side of it, throw up there that, hey, I'd love to split a room with somebody else who's going. That's how I've literally at every single event I've gone to, I think except for Nashville, I've shared a room with another contractor. It makes it more enjoyable. You've got somebody to go hang out with, especially if you're further along in the industry. I'd encourage anybody to open that olive branch to somebody else so that they can, spend more money on soap, spend more money on equipment, be able to afford to be there in the first place.
Right.
It's sad. The guy that I helped out at the first convention, he had all kinds of stuff and just fell apart afterwards. But I was happy to be able to help somebody else get there and learn and give them at least the opportunity. We can't do anything else about what they do with that opportunity, but giving them that opportunity is again, and it if it makes it half price for you on the hotel room, why not?
Yeah, exactly. That's if you do see a content creator at the show like Rob, to just say what's up, say, hey, I watch your videos. Good job on the videos. Hey, I always tell, like, I don't care. Show that people make fun of my crooked nose. That's cool. Do whatever. But at least that you've gotten something out of the videos that are produced. That's huge to these guys, especially like Rob and Bobby Walker and those guys that, we've kind of gotten to see from start to where you are, and everything that's been learned has just been accelerated by the industry. It's just very, very cool.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. And I also kudos to Thad for putting on the convention and bringing together, I'll say what's been kind of warring factions from time to time over the years. He manages to get these people, these businesses, and not everybody in the industry is there, but a lot of people that may have been at the very least strong competitors with one another are shaking hands, breaking bread,
Yeah.
realizing that ultimately somebody's got to buy quick connects from somewhere. They all sell them. Let's
Hmm.
figure out a way to work together. Let's figure out, we can all. It's just the same way I like to meet the different contractors in my area. You can either look at every single person as the enemy, or you can find out which ones are nice and which ones are just jerks and are your enemy. Like,
We're all going in the same direction. So why
yeah,
fight that? It just slows it hinders you if you're trying to fight. So yeah, be Switzerland, like you said, meeting contractors. I always say that the show like this is a dog park. Like if you walk up to one of your contractors in your area and say, "Hey, I'm Rob. I do the same thing as you do," all of a sudden they're kind of scowling and they're hiding their job because they think you're trying to steal it, And well, when you go to a dog's yard, a dog meeting a dog in its own yard, they're going to fight. But when you go to a dog
yeah,
park, nobody fights. They all just have fun. They just do their thing. That's what these are. It's
yeah,
like you can go up to anybody there and see, pressure washers. You guys got the NASCAR shirts on, right? You can walk up to anybody with a colorful shirt and say, "Hey, what are you charging per square foot?" I'm guaranteeing you they will tell you because it's neutral
yeah,
territory. Everybody's there to help. You can't get that in your
yeah.
own
Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, on that, I've met one of basically the biggest window cleaner in my area at a convention. I met the Josettis at a different convention. Um, we've been able to do roundtables at other vendor events and other different conventions around town. And certainly when it was in Baltimore or when it was in DC, that was great because I got to meet a whole mess of, Baltimore, DC,
area.
Eastern Shore, and realize like we've got a lot of people in this, East Coast, Northeast area.
Yeah.
We got such a,
FYI, that's why all the shows are on the East Coast, is because if you look at a heat map of all the registered companies, it's like the East Coast is just one glowing strip. And then there's like sprinkles in the Midwest and then sprinkles on the East Coast, but there's like voids. So yeah.
Jacob Deal. Did you say breaking bread? There will be food there. I'm
Was that
hungry. Yes. Yes,
Jacob
I
Dell?
already I owe Jake a meal and other things. So
Jacob Dell has lost like 640 pounds or something. So he is like skinny mini now. I just saw a video he put up, which he doesn't do videos, and he's looking stout. He's looking good. I don't know, man. I don't. He's probably going to be eating salads or something. So you might get off pretty cheap with that meal.
yeah, exactly. Want to talk about too. Hopefully, people are getting there early and going to some of these pre-event classes too. I
Yeah,
mean that's just icing on top. Um, last year I ended up because we were there early. I got the opportunity to speak at the Service Software Summit. Um, and that was a cool little opportunity that just, hey, I was there and yeah, what's going on, Chet? Now they're going soup Nazi all there. But in all seriousness, there's some great classes going on before the event. And guys, I mean, what's an extra night at the hotel?
yeah.
Um, Again, being able to learn from Ray Burke and Dougie Dew and Draper and John Tornbanny doing these again pre-event things it's a great way to maximize that time that you're there.
Yeah. And another thing about Ray Burke is I heard Ray Burke loves hugs. So if you're going to the show and you see Ray Burke, you just walk up and you hug him. He loves hugs. So go ahead and do that. He said it was okay.
Yep, big long hugs, dude, like Chris Farley style, right?
Yeah, right. Mitch Wood is also here. He just said, "What's up to everybody?" Ramon Moniamono somewhere quite quiet, I think, and secluded, and he'll bring some liquor. See, they're already networking in the group right now. They're already networking. So
But I mean, guys, if you don't see this, like this stuff amps me up. It's such an adrenaline rush with it all. Take notes in these classes and then set a reminder on your phone or wherever to then look at them, a week after you get back because you're going to want to implement like 100 things and then you're going to get home and you're going to just like be comatose because you've just been going.
yeah.
It takes you time to get back in the swing of things. So
And there's other shows even before this, but I like started this, I guess, tradition, if it sounds dumb. But before the show, I would find some kind of cool notebook, and it sounds so dumb, but I got like a leather one, and I got like a zipped up one, and then I got like this like camouflage. I got every year I get a new different kind of like notebook journaling thing, and I fill that up to the brim, and then that is my guide for the whole year because there's so many things out of there. I could read old journals from 6 years ago and see stuff that I never even got a chance to implement, and it's still all there. So take notes.
That's awesome.
If you're
yeah. Print this stuff is fantastic. Is there anybody on here that's I guess on the fence that hasn't? No, we got a decent amount of people. We got 37 people. I see and recognize most of these names of the people that are watching this.
Yeah.
Anybody on the fence?
If you have questions on why you should go, ask away, because normally these things go for 30 minutes, but we got a good crowd, so we're stick around for a few more minutes. But if you guys have questions on like what do I get out of this, or what is really worth it, or something, I mean, we're kind of beating dead horses on our points, but ask away. Jacob Dell, you're not.
Jacob Dale, you can't fit on a fence, anyways. Let's be honest, man.
It can't happen.
The Great Wall of China is the fence that he's on. It's in Branson, Missouri, Anthony. And actually, what was it? If you're worried about what classes are going on, I've seen some people that are like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to register because I don't even know who's speaking." Rest assured that the people that will be speaking in these classes will be fantastic. I literally, in all the classes, I've had one class that I wasn't as impressed with, and so I went to one of the other ones, which was awesome. Sid Grafe was speaking in the other room, and he made the final 15, 20 minutes that I was in that class worth it. But every single other class that I've been in, and it's fantastic too. So if you've been in the industry for, a couple of weeks, couple months, a year, there are classes that will help you grow your business. If you've been in the business for 5, 10, 15 years, there is still nuggets to be gained. There's still stuff on that other level. When you're new and you're trying to learn some of the basics, there's a lot of stuff you can learn there that'll be applied to those. And so I might not be in house washing 101 or flat work pricing or how do I clean concrete. But there's classes for us that, okay, well, so now that I've got all that stuff mastered, how do I work on government contracting? How do I get to property managers? How do we software? How do we stay organized? I mean, I did the whole thing through Excel. When you're doing 25 to 50 grand, you can manage that. You can run it all just off your cell phone and your Gmail contact list.
Yeah.
You can't do that beyond that. Then you got to have a real CRM. So that's when you're having this conversation saying, Jersey, what do you use? How in the world do you stay organized? How are you following up with people? You're able to get that honest feedback instead of just, looking at whatever website Gina O'Neill sold out. I guess something about race class. Building a whole new company, fences included. I love the camaraderie that we have in this industry. It's so much fun. It really, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and even back to kind of your classes too. A lot of people are like, "Well, I want to know the class speakers. I want to know the class." I'm telling you, the most money I've ever made from things I've learned has been at a bar, or has been at the lobby, or has been at somewhere because someone's talking. One time I got plastic gift cards, like way early on. Somebody was talking about gift cards, and I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, oh, yeah, I kind of use this, tailored it a little bit. I'm telling you that one bit made me $10,000 that year. Easy. Like every year, no matter how far you are, how much you think you know, not only does everything change, but just the littlest thing gets brought up. It was a part of a conversation you just happened to hear and you caught on to it and you made that one little change. It just skyrocketed.
Yeah. And that's the difference too between people that are surviving and thriving. You're taking those bits and making that. Ray Burke, what if you learned something that made you 5% more profitable?
Think about it.
Pays for it.
Think about like
exponentially.
Yeah. Think about
You
if
know,
you had one little thing that in 12 months could make you $1,000. You paid for the trip, but then every year from there you compound on that $1,000. You know, it's
yeah, yeah, and I mean, I'm open about my numbers and everything. And like I said, the first year when I went was the year that we broke 50. We broke 300 on Friday for the year. Like
yeah,
it's insane. And again, this is in a period of 5 years. You know, we're on pace this year. We will crush 600. I'm still shooting for 7 and change this year. Um, and it's just the contractor that I am right now is nothing like the person that I was several years ago. You'll also another thing. Every one of these speakers, a lot of times, will throw out some books that you should read. You know, you'll hear, especially with the big presenters, they'll usually quote several books.
yeah,
Write down every single one of them and download them on Audible right then and there.
yeah.
Because if somebody who's on that stage is telling you this book is worth reading, spend the $15 and get it now.
Oh
Go
yeah,
listen to it. Get nuggets out of it too.
yeah. That's
So
there's so many. Nobody goes to the convention to find books to read, but yet it comes out and those things. It's anyway. We're beating a dead horse here, but if you haven't got to go right now to thehugeconvention.com, get them so that you can see Gene O'Neill, so you can see Jacob Dell. Get in on the betting. The betting is getting up there really high on if Jacob Dell is going to go there. I think Vegas has odds now. You can check it out. Go see Rob. Tell Rob you like his videos. Just tell him that you learned something from him or any of these people that you think you know from the interwebs. Go just tell them that they did something.
Yeah.
It means the world to them. Go learn, talk to people, stay in groups. Don't hide in your room, please, for the love of everything. Stick around, just listen to people, and be the best person that you can at these things. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, and literally, if you know nobody, hang out in the lobby until you see somebody wearing a power washing shirt, and then just like, hey, man, get over being. Okay, this is going back to Dave with you and Dave were talking. He's like, a couple beers, just talk. You know, extroverted people, when we get nervous, we just start talking until somebody listens.
Yeah.
And like, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Dean O'Neill pointed out something great too, is that when you find those people that are in your area, you know, you get that opportunity to bid that huge job, that 6-figure or 5-figure job that you're just not ready for, but you met so-and-so that can handle that. And now you can give that qualified referral over to somebody. Or today, Meg just said it with All Clean. She gave me a lead that's, you know, it's 15 minutes away from me. It's an hour plus for them to get to it. They'd literally have to drive basically past my house to get to that, and it's not worth it for them. So she went ahead and fed that lead to me. You know, we're able to go ahead and jump on it. We've done a couple of that, and we've had a couple that have been right in their backyards. Yes, wear your lanyards out in the landing. Yes, it'll be.
Listen,
it'll be
the
fun.
numbers this year, as it's going, we're going to have 1,500 contractors. 1,500 contractors. So you're going to be around people that are doing what you're doing. So you can definitely find some people to talk to.
Yeah, you will not find more people in a higher quality caliber of people.
Yeah. See, look at that, Ike. You scared Rob away. See that? He just hit the wrong button and he's now gone. But either way, guys, do go and get your tickets. Go to thehugeconvention.com. Of course, buy the tickets. Just go to the show. You're going to have an amazing time. We're going to be back again doing another talk again tomorrow. So if you're around and you want to hang out, come on, jump on, say what's up. And we'll go from there. So if you haven't yet, please do check out WCR Nation, the window cleaning podcast. Search it anywhere. You can learn no matter if you're in window cleaning, pressure washing, or you're in dog poop removal. So it's business is business is business. So check it out. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow.